Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Today we are going to discuss another objection which is leveled against Ustaz Javed Ahmad Ghamidi, and that is his interpretation of the word Meezan and Furqan, both of which are Quranic words. Regarding Meezan, Ustaz Ghamidi says that it actually denotes the fact that the Quran is the final authority in religion. And the word Furqan also conveys a very similar meaning, which means distinguisher between good and evil. Now, the people or the proponents of the counter interpretation is that they say that as far as the word Mizan is concerned, it is not in the meaning of final authority in various occurrences in the Quran. It in fact refers to its general meaning of the scale. The word Mizan actually means the scale. And as far as the word Furqan is concerned, they contend that this word is not used just with the Quran. It is used with all the books of God, and at best it can be said that it is the Furqan or the distinguisher of good and evil in matters of aqaid, which means matters which pertain to belief. Now, Ustaz Ghamidi says that this, of course, is something that has resulted by not understanding the relevant verses of the Quran. He says that if we look at the Quran, specifically verse 213 of Surah Baqarah, which is now will be displayed before you, it says basically that the books of God were sent down so that they could settle differences of opinion in religion between people. So لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ فِي مَا اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ is what the Quran has said. And now let us look at how this verse of Surah Baqarah depicts this. كان الناس أمة واحدة فبعث الله النبيين مبشرين ومنذرين وأنزل معهم الكتاب بالحق ليحكم بين الناس فيما اختلفوا فيه وما اختلف فيه إلا الذين أوتوه من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات بغيا بينهم فهدى الله الذين آمنوا لما اختلفوا فيه من الحق بإذنه والله يهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. Mankind was just a single community. Then God sent forth prophets as bearers of glad tidings and as warners. And with them He sent down His book as the decisive truth so that it may settle between people the differences among them. Only they differed in it to whom it was given after very clear signs had come to them because of malice for one another. Then those who believed in the Quran, God guided them by His grace about the truth in which they were differing, and God guides whomsoever He intends according to His law to the straight path. So, Ustaz Ghamidi says that basically it is this verse of Surah Baqarah which sets the tone. It tells us that the books of God are revealed so that they can settle differences which arise in the matter of religion between people. لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. And it is precisely this لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ which is depicted by the word Al-Furqan. So Ustaz Ghamidi goes on to say that the very first verse of Surah Furqan, which is now being cited before you, تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نظيرا. Very exalted and benevolent is the being who has revealed the Furqan to His servant so that it can warn the people of the world. This is the verse which tells us that the word Furqan actually is something which means that anything which distinguishes between good and evil. And if we look at how Hafiz ibn Kathir has interpreted this word, it will be clearly understood that the meaning which Ustaz has derived is no different from a very famous mufassir or commentator of the Quran, Hafiz ibn Kathir. ولهذا سماه هاهنا الفرقان لأنه يفرق بين الحق والباطل والهدى والضلال والغي والرشاد والحلال والحرام. And that is why the Almighty has named the Quran as Al-Furqan, because it differentiates between the truth and evil and between guidance and error. Another important thing that has to be understood in this regard is that this status of the Quran is also something which exists regarding previous scriptures. So just as the Quran is the final authority, it is the verdict, the final verdict in matters of religion, whenever there is a difference of opinion, the Quran has been invested with the same position vis-a-vis the previous scriptures, which means that it is a guardian over all the previous scriptures. If there is any difference of opinion, then the word of the Quran will prevail. وأنزلنا إليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه من الكتاب ومهيمنا عليه فاحكم بينهم بما أنزل الله ولا تتبع أهواءهم عما جاءك من الحق. Then, O Prophet, we have revealed to you this book with truth and in corroboration of the book before it, and standing as a guardian over it. Therefore, give judgment among them according to the guidance revealed by God, and do not yield to their whims by swerving from the truth that has come to you. And let us now look at the interpretation of this word by Hafiz ibn Kathir once again, the way he has interpreted this word. And in fact, he has quoted Abdullah ibn Abbas, one of the premier scholars of religion, regarding the word muhaymin, and it will convey exactly the same meaning as Furqan or Meezan. An Ibn Abbas, ومهيمن أي حاكما على ما قبله من الكتب وهذه الأقوال كلها متقاربة المعنى فإن اسم المهيمن يتضمن هذا فهو أمين وشاهد وحاكم على كل كتاب قبله. Ibn Abbas says that the word muhaymin actually means that it is a guardian over all the books which are before it. And these statements are very close to one another. And the word muhaymin actually encapsulates all this and means that it protects and guards them and is the final word on all the books before it. Ustaz Ghamidi cites two other verses also in the Quran in which the word Meezan is cited. So one of them is in Surah Hadid and the other one is in Surah Shura. So the words in Surah Hadid, as you can see, which are being displayed before you, they are very important to understand because it is here that the Quran has said, and in the opinion of Ustaz Ghamidi, equated the word Al-Kitab with Meezan, which means that the Quran itself is Meezan. But before we can explain that, let us take a look at this verse of Surah Hadid. لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلُنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. We have sent our messengers with very clear and lucid arguments and revealed with them our book, that is the scale, so that people adhere to justice regarding truth and falsehood. Now consider verses 13 to 18 of Surah Shura. شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوح والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه كبر على المشركين ما تدعوهم إليه الله يجتبي إليه من يشاء ويهدي إليه من ينيب وما تفرقوا إلا من بعد ما جاءهم العلم بغيا بينهم ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك إلى أجل مسمى لقضي بينهم وإن الذين أورثوا الكتاب من بعدهم لفي شك منه مريب فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب أمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم لنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم لا حجة بيننا وبينكم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير والذين يحاجون في الله من بعد ما استجيب له حجتهم داحضة عند ربهم وعليهم غضب ولهم عذاب شديد الله الذي أنزل الكتاب بالحق والميزان وما يدريك لعل الساعة قريب يستعجل بها الذين لا يؤمنون بها والذين آمنوا مشفقون منها ويعلمون أنها الحق ألا إن الذين يمارون في الساعة لفي ضلال بعيد. He has prescribed the same religion for you to which he guided Noah, and whose revelation, O Prophet, we have sent to you, and whose directive we gave to Abraham, Moses, Jesus. Adhere to this religion in your lives and do not create differences in it. What you are calling these idolaters to, that they should believe in one God, is weighing down heavily on them. God chooses whomsoever He intends to come towards Him, but He shows the way that leads towards Him only to those who turn to Him. And these people who believe in these messengers became divided after true knowledge had come to them merely because of malice and enmity among themselves. And had a prescribed time of respite already not been fixed from your Lord, a verdict would have been passed down between them at that very instant. Then not only they, those after them, who from God were made inheritors of that book, are afflicted with such doubt from that book that is very perplexing. So, O Prophet, invite towards the very religion which is the religion of all prophets, and the way in which you have been directed. Firmly adhere to it, and do not follow their desires, and declare, whichever book God has revealed, I believe in it, and I have been directed to judge fairly between you about truth and falsehood. Bear in mind that God alone is our Lord and yours also. If you do not believe, our deeds are for us and yours for you. There is no further need of any discussion between you and us. God shall gather all of us on the day of judgment, and towards Him everyone has to go. Those who are arguing about God in order to prove that He has associates after He has been believed by them, their argument is going to fail totally before their Lord, and for them is wrath and a severe torment. It is God who has revealed this book of His with the decisive truth, and in this way, in order to distinguish good and evil, sent down His scale. If they want, they can benefit from it. Otherwise, what may you know that the hour may be near? Only those people are asking to hasten it who do not believe in it. The believers dread it and know that it certainly is the truth. Listen, those who are disputing about an established fact like the day of judgment, there is no doubt that they have gone far astray. Next, Ustaz Ghamidi actually reads out a portion from his book Meezan, also known as Islam, a Comprehensive Introduction in the English Language, in which he has surmised his inference. He has actually said that a natural consequence of the Quran being Meezan is what he is now just going to describe. This is the status of the Quran which it has asserted about itself. Consequently, on the basis of this status, the following principles need to be adhered to. Firstly, no divine revelation extraneous to the Quran, and not even the Prophet, peace be upon him, to whom this Quran was revealed, can specify a general directive of the Quran or alter any of its directives. Everything shall be accepted as religion or rejected on the basis of the Quran. Everything accepted in religion shall be rigorously scrutinized under the light of this divine guidance. All bases of belief and faith shall be directly derived from it. Every revelation, inspiration, research, and opinion shall be subservient to the Quran, and it shall be acknowledged that even the works of great jurists like Abu Hanifa and Shafi, scholars of hadith like Bukhari and Muslim, theologians like Al-Ashari and Al-Maturidi, Sufis like Junaid and Shibli, must be weighed in the scales of this Meezan, and nothing can be accepted from them which is not in consonance with it. Secondly, the text of the Quran is univocal. The meaning conveyed by each word of it is definitive. Whatever it intends to say, it says with full certainty, and there is no ambiguity about it. In no issue is it unable to convey what it wants to. The meanings of its words perfectly match the words, and the meanings do not in any way contradict what the words say. The only way to approach the Quran in order to understand it is through its words. With full certainty, these words convey what they stand for, and there is no question of any doubt or ambiguity in this regard. Ustaz Ghamidi finally concentrates on the verse of Surah Hadid because it is paramount to his understanding, and as pointed out earlier, the words Anzalna ma'ahum al-kitab wal-mizan, the word kitab and mizan being used in coordination to one another according to his interpretation refer to the same fact, which is the book of God. So as far as his understanding is concerned, he says that let us look at how our Mufassirun have interpreted the word Mizan. So because of the fact that the word Mizan, if it is understood to be something which is not metaphorical, it is real because it is coordinated to a real thing which is book, then if the word scale is to be the meaning of the word Mizan, then it would mean that God reveals with all His prophets not only the book but also with a Mizan or a scale, which is a physical scale, which of course cannot be because no physical scale has been revealed by the Almighty with any book as far as the era of the prophets is concerned. So he has said that most of the interpreters of the Quran actually refer the word al-Mizan to here imply the meaning of adl or justice. Now, this is what they imply, that it is basically the book and which concept which is called Mizan, connoted by the word justice. When this word is used here, So it would be very inappropriate as far as the Ustaz Ghamidi says. He says that this would then mean that God has revealed His book and He's revealed justice. This is something which is absolutely does not sit well in the translation. Justice is something which is already innately found in a person. The context does not permit it to be taken in this word. And as far as the word is concerned, it is something we cannot simply imply that justice was revealed by the Almighty in any way. So basically, it is revealed in its metaphorical sense, and that is that justice itself here denotes justice or what is right in the matters of any difference which may arise in the Quran. So according to Ustaz Ghamidi, the word al-kitab and al-mizan, of course, the waw here is of tafsir, which means of explication. But the word al-mizan here is symbolically referring to the distinguisher of between good and evil, between right and wrong. And the reason that he has taken this meaning is that the subsequent words are لِيَقُومَ النَّاسِ بِالْقِسْطِ, so that people can adhere to justice in matters of religion. So this can only be possible if the word mizan is to be interpreted in this meaning. So you cannot take it in the meaning of adl or justice. It has to be taken in the meaning that the book itself is a mizan. Book itself is a distinguisher of good and evil, right and wrong, because once this is consulted, it is able to settle the differences that might arise between people regarding religion. Viewers, near the end of his discussion, Ustaz Ghamidi says that as far as this word is concerned, waw, which connotes tafsir or explication, he admits the fact that for the first time it was used by Wahidi. He's a much later person who lived in the 11th or 12th century, but that does not mean that waw of tafsir did not exist in its concept amongst grammarians. So when he says that al-kitab and al-mizan, when they are separated by the word waw, and the word waw is of tafsir, which means it explicates. In other words, the waw says the word al-kitab basically refers to the mizan itself. So waw here is explaining the previous word. So the word waw, being the waw of tafsir, actually refers to the fact that yes, by this name it existed, or it was coined much later. But as far as its interpretation is concerned, it is found in the earliest grammarians. So he cites Mughni al-Labib, author of Mughni al-Labib is Ibn Hisham Ansari. He says that one of the types of waw is atfu shay ala muradifihi, which means coordination of a thing which is similar to it. And Ibn Hisham actually gives the example of a Quranic verse, innama ashku bassi wa huzni ilallah. So the word bassi and huzni, they are synonymous words. So waw is just coordinating huzni to bassi, which means something which is similar to the previous word. And another example that he has given is of ulaika alayhim salawatu min rabbihim wa rahma. So salawatim min rabbihim wa rahma, salawat and rahma, again this is the atfu shay ala muradifihi, that coordinating rahma with salawat is something in which you are coordinating something which is similar to that. So this is nothing but waw of tafsir, which has existed in the works of our grammarians without actually calling it to be the waw of tafsir. Ustaz Ghamidi has also cited Zamakhshari and his book Kashaf, actually, in which Zamakhshari is also using the word waw in the form of tafsir without actually naming it to be the waw of tafsir, but as a concept it has existed. At one place in his book he says, قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ نُورٌ وَكِتَابٌ مُبِينٌ. So there has come to you, قَدْ جَاءَكُم مِّنَ اللَّهِ, from God, nur wa kitabu mubin, light and a clear book. So while explaining what exactly is the relationship of the word kitab with nur, he says that the word actually refers to yuridul Quran, and the word kitab actually refers to the Quran itself. And why does it say so? Because likashfihi zulumat shirk, because it actually clears the darkness of polytheism from people. So again, he is using the word waw as the tafsir. The word kitab is basically something which is explaining, or something which is of the same sort as nur, but the concept of tafsir has existed without it being explained. So if we sum up Ustaz Ghamidi's point of view, he says that it is absolutely erroneous to believe that the Quran does not say that the word Meezan or Furqan are in the meaning of distinguisher of good or evil or the final authority in religion. These usages of the Quran that we have just presented, they clearly say that word Meezan actually refers to the fact that the Quran is the final authority in all matters of religion. So is the case with Furqan, and so is the case with Muhaymin. And as far as the fact that in Surah Hadid, the waw of tafsir has been used, and the fact that it might feel to be something alien to people who are not fully well versed with the history of commentary of the Quran, they will see that although by this word, waw of tafsir, this word has been used by a much later mufassir like Wahidi, but in concept, this waw of tafsir has existed in amongst the mufassirun. He has also referred to the grammarian Ibn Hisham, and Ibn Hisham has said that the word atfu shay ala muradifihi, which means coordinating a word to something which is similar to that word, or a concept something to a similar to that concept, is something which actually signifies the vow of tafsir. And hence it would be very incorrect to say that the Quran is not the final authority or is just the final authority in matters of beliefs only. The Quran invests itself with the status of the final authority and the distinguisher of good and evil, and as such, it occupies this supreme status.